Hi there. I'd like to show you how to use a mind map by actually making one live with you. So I've got this artwork here. I'm a sculptor, and this is what I had in my office that could be seen on the screen. So I'm going to make a mind map based on this artwork. So this is the artwork. And really the mind map is trying to get at the meaning or the content of the whole work. It's just a way of organizing all the information that we have about this artwork. So let's start, doesn't matter where we start these off, but let's start over here, and I'm going to have my, my little bubble here be physical properties. So what are physical properties? Remember, this is the form of the artwork, the materials that were used to make it, how big it is. So let's start. This is made from clay or ceramic. This is, oh, I should have gotten a ruler out here. This is about 16 inches tall. What else? This is shaped in kind of a cone shape. It's three-dimensional, which is important, because we often are talking about paintings in this class. That's a good start for us. We can do more, but that's a good start. So that's physical properties, or at least some of them. We have size, we have material, and we have form, or both of those are probably form. What else? Well, the subject. Remember, subject can include iconography, which we'll get to later in the class. Subject, iconography, symbolism, and conventions. Most of those don't really apply to this one here because this subject is abstract. But we don't have to stop with just abstract. We could say that this reminds us of things. So, this is a tricky one, right? This is my work, so I know what it reminds me of. What it reminds you of might be a little bit different. And of course, I'm writing the mind map, so it reminds me of plants with stuff growing on them. I have these little circles here are made off of the end of oranges. It's kind of weird, but there you go. I'm going to call those sprigs because that's what they technically are. Maybe it looks like shells or stuff undersea where the shells are the little mussels are stuck onto the docks and things like that. So, sorry, all of that gets a little specific for my particular work and won't relate much to what we're talking about other cultures in class. But there's subject, or at least pieces of subject. What else do we have? Well, we have visual structure. So what's visual structure? Visual structure is probably one that's going to take you a while to get used to in this class, where you're going to have some activities where you practice using some of this terminology. I've had lots of practice. So this is a piece that has a lot of repetition, repeating shapes that are very similar all over the place. So I'm going to put repeating shapes. Of course, shape is another part of visual structure, so I could identify those shapes. What do you call those? Kind of teardrop shapes or forms. Forms is tricky because form is the overall form of the artwork, the format, whether it's a rectangle or a upside down cone or a cone shape. But it can also mean, when we're talking about visual structure, form means something that seems to be three-dimensional or is three-dimensional, as opposed to a shape, which is flat. So this is a form, whereas this is a shape. That's hard to see. I've tried to draw a cone and a triangle. All right, other stuff. We've got colors here, so we can simply list the colors. Yellow, red, purple. Right? We can also talk about color schemes, and that's something that we'll do later on in the class and spend more time on. But right now, this is a non-representational color. You could also call this arbitrary color. So we've talked about shapes, we've talked about colors, we've talked about repetition. We can also talk about whether this is symmetrical or not. The overall form is symmetrical, meaning it's roughly the same shape on both sides. There's not like a big thing sticking out on one side, although the repeating forms are clustered on the one side more than on the other. There's a lot more to say about the visual structure, but I don't want this to be an hour-long video. So that's a good start for us. Now, what's the last category? We've talked about physical properties. We've talked about subject as much as we can. We've talked about visual structure, at least the start of it. So the other one is cultural context. So this is where this is, who made it? Oh, me. When it was made, let's say, I can't quite remember, let's go with 2014, I think, roughly, circa 2014, because I can't quite remember. And then other things that influenced the culture. So this is a 21st century working artist, me, and teacher. I may have been influenced by 20th century ceramics. How is this meant to be used? Well, it's being used by sitting in my office waiting around to be on a video. So let's say office decoration. And you get the idea. So this, what I've got here, is a mess of all sorts. I don't know how to orient it. There we go. A mess of all sorts of information. And the goal of creating a mind map is to help you organize your own thinking. This one's much less pretty than one that I will share with you that was done on the computer or something like that. But the mind map is not meant to be really pretty. It's meant to help you think through stuff. So whether you put physical properties here or here, whether you put cultural context here or here, wherever you put these things, the important thing is to start helping you talk about artworks, but also look for things that are relevant or interesting or that you know about the artwork. So my recommendation for you is to use this, to make your own mind map when you're talking about artworks in our textbook. You can share the artwork with your classmates in the discussion forum. We'd love to see that. You can also just simply use it for your own notes as a way of organizing the information. If you go through and you're easily able to do subject and cultural context and visual structure and you don't have anything down here, then you know that's a place where you need to ask some questions. You can ask in the discussion forum or ask me for help. Or you can go back to the reading and look really hard. What is it that's missing here? All right? So that's how you use mind map, and hopefully that'll be useful for you.